There we go. I can hear my voice in the background. How's it
Yeah,
going, brother?
it's like when you're tuning into the radio and they're saying to you, "Please turn down the radio in the background."
You never learn, huh? How's it going,
How are
brother?
you? I'm enjoying the show. It's really fantastic.
Ah, cheers. I appreciate that, man. It's really good to just be able to connect with so many different artists. It's a lovely
Yeah,
experience. I'm having fun. Yeah.
good, good.
Thanks for staying tuned in and I'm really looking forward to kind of catching up with you and having a bit of a chit chat and a bit of live
Cool.
music. And how have you been keeping with the quarantine? I've seen a little bit of the live shows you've been doing, which are great and stuff. So has it changed a lot for yourself? Um,
Well, I won't break tradition like the other guests. I'm loving it. Um,
thank you.
it has changed. The realm of gigging has obviously changed physically. Didn't take me too long to get used to it, you know.
Mm,
I did the first online gig on St. Patrick's Day, um, and since that I've kind of set up an area in the living room here where I just literally step into it once or twice a week, do the gig, and yeah, I'm loving the online gigs,
mm.
um, because you can feel the love in the room, the virtual love. I do a regular Sunday evening one, and like I have people from all over the world tuning in that I would have met at gigs down through the last couple of years. So it's really, really, really cool. Loving it, really loving it.
Yeah, it's amazing because I guess you can tap into a broader range of audience, right? From across the world, as you're saying. I wonder after this, is there a way to maybe implement, the live optional concept with regard to, streaming live gigs when you're there, and then people in the States can watch you as well while you're doing a live show. That would be an amazing thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like some of the viewers on Sunday nights have actually texted me, saying that we should have a Barry J community meetup for those that are in Ireland,
Hmm.
because I gig every Sunday evening in the Dingle Whiskey Bar in Dublin. But it was a great idea, and this particular lady was saying we could, a couple of us could stream it live on our phones or on our tablets. So I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, let's go for it.
That's awesome. So yeah, so you're still doing the same amount of gig, well, the regular 1 week anyway Sunday show, right? And it's a
Yeah.
lot of it's covers, and you keep it updated and stuff like that. You're adding in new covers, and do you throw in some
Yeah,
originals and
I've put a lot of work into it, especially in the last say 4 or 5 sessions. So I'm coming up with different themes. Like a couple of Sundays ago, I did a girl power theme, so I covered like Whitney Houston, Cher, Natalie Imbruglia, all the big female artists.
hmm.
Did 100% Irish night, um, rock, rock and roll night. So yeah, it's good, and it's keeping people interested. And the important thing is there's so many of us now doing gigs online. It's everywhere. So it's important to maybe have an element that makes you stand out from other people.
Oh,
So I'm
100%.
working hard at that, and that takes up a couple of days, when it's constant updating of social media, and yeah, it's good fun. I've
Hmm.
really just delved into it and gone for it with those gigs, and I introduce them then to my own music as well, so I'm playing a few of those. So yeah, it's good fun.
It's great. Yeah, no, I definitely love covers myself. I definitely love listening to something familiar and then slap in a couple of originals in there as well to kind of get to know a little bit of
Slap them in.
a bit of the original artist. I love that mixture.
Brilliant.
That kind of concept is it's actually awesome, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of work, man. I mean, but it can only make you like absolutely superior of a musician, right? Because you're playing so many different styles and genres, right, on one instrument, which is
Yeah, but that's
crazy.
it. Like I am challenging myself big time. Like I'm learning new material every week. So that's good. And the stuff that I was already playing, like I've been doing cover gigs for probably 5 years, and like some of the covers I would play, I wouldn't have listened to the original in 5 years, and you
Mm,
end up bringing it in a different direction. So like the last couple of months, I've been sitting down listening to the cover and going, all right, I could possibly do that better or add in more to what I'm doing. So I'm really working on honing my craft for the live gigs, because my cover
mm.
gigs and wedding work is my income. Like I'm a full-time musician, so it's important for me to keep the business afloat. Really, is what I'm doing.
Mm.
You know?
What's been like really challenging for you as well, I guess either as an artist that plays music for his bread and butter, or an original artist, but what's challenging in Ireland, with regard for yourself, have you found with regard to music, um either the original or
Yeah,
cover world, or however.
Yeah, well, look, I don't want to, moan about it, but the original music scene for somebody at my level, it can be tough, yes, but you just have to work hard at it, and you have to keep yourself out there, and inside, if I know I've tried my best, then I've nothing to complain about. Really, I've tried my hardest. I've sent the music to radios. I've done all the gigs. I worked quite hard for the first two years, 2.5 years, traveling literally all around the country, doing any open mic night I could, any
Mm,
singer-songwriter session, and I worked hard at that. So what's been difficult? Well, the fact that I don't drive, that can be quite
mm,
difficult at times. But like I predominantly, when it comes to the cover gigs, I gig more local. Apart from Dublin, Dublin's easy for me to get to anyway.
mhm,
I haven't really fit. I suppose a challenge really would be self confidence at times. Especially with the original material, because you're constantly questioning yourself. Is this good enough? Will people
mm,
like this? I've tried to move away from that mentality in the last year or so, and told myself it is good enough. I like it, and I'll continue to write and record for me, even if it's only for me. And and like one part of the business kind of supports the other part, so the covers and the cash, the income financially will support the opportunity to go into studio to experiment and not be tied to, right, I have 4 days to do this. Let's
mm.
take our time with it, and if we need to go back in and start the song again, which happened last year, we kind of scrapped a few ideas, started again, and it's yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
That was, and there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer,
Okay,
Barry.
great.
But this is in reference to your EP, your EP in December, was it? Where you had to scrap a few.
Yeah,
Can you tell
just
us a
be
little bit?
honest with
Mm.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I recorded that in my hometown here in Carrick Cross with a producer called Martin O'Neill,
Mm-hmm.
fabulous producer, sound engineer, and musician and singer as well. Um, and I grew up just across the road from Martin, and we both live in town now. So I contacted him December of 2018, and I told him that I had a couple of tracks I was interested in recording, and would he be interested, or would he have time? So he said he was just dying for an original artist to kind of come to him. He was dying to get into original music and get recording it.
Mm.
So we had an absolute blast all year, on and off, whenever we had time. And like I went to him with the bare bones of some songs, because I'm a solo artist, so it's me and the guitar.
Mm.
But he brought it to another level, with more modern sounds and samples and drum beats and all that. So great fun, yeah, great fun. Four tracks and a live version of one of the tracks. Then
Awesome. It's great. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's. It's. Do you find it difficult? Like, okay, before you met um sorry, what was his name that you met yesterday? Or sorry, last year. I
uh,
mean,
Martin.
Martin. It would have been difficult for you to enter a studio environment as a solo sort of musician, and then add in all the other extra little bits and pieces. How did that work before?
It was different every time. I found it hard to get comfortable in the space. Always
Mm,
found it uncomfortable to get in the space. The
mm,
confidence thing may have been an element to that, but I worked with a lot of great people. Don't get me wrong, but
mm,
I just felt, I think because I had known Martin such a long time, we both seemed to be on the same page, and that
mm,
page was, let's throw everything at it, and whatever works, we'll keep it. Whatever doesn't work, let's not
mm,
stress about it. Let's just have fun. So yeah, in the past, like I released an EP in 2015, 2016. Um, and I'm quite proud of all the work that I've put out there to date. And then a live album came out in 2017, so that was trying to keep the material there, and as I said earlier, keep people interested. People were actually coming to me, messaging me, tweeting me, going, when are you going into studio again? We love your stuff. So I was
amazing.
like, oh, right. Well, I had a certain amount of material there that was recorded live, even from live radio sessions and stuff like that. So it's a
Mm.
kind of warts and all type of album. But it's good, and it's a mix of throwing in those covers and the original work. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's great because you managed to build your fan base quite large by sort of implementing that mix of sort of um, covers and even mixing in the themes with them like you're doing now with on a weekly
Yeah,
basis, mixing them and then putting in your originals and stuff. So it's an amazing sort of system that seems to feed itself, right? So you're able to get a bit of Bob and then fuel, let's say, a bit of the recording process, which can be
yeah,
stressful because you've got a time limit and you've got a limited amount of money and you've got, a limited amount
yeah,
of creative power, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think the balance is good, and I know, there is an opinion out there. Oh, I don't play covers. I don't like playing covers. I love playing covers, and
Mm,
I'm happy to do that. And the balance, I've struck a balance, which is good, and it's going good. It took me a couple of years, kind of to, I suppose, to have a good structure, financially. Obviously, I do
mm.
it for the love of music as well, but I have to pay a mortgage and pay bills and all that. So, yeah, in the last 2 or 3 years, it has kind of come to a level that I'm very comfortable with, very happy with.
Yeah, I guess it takes some time for everybody because everyone's different and has their own sort of method to art. And I agree. Like I think covers are an awesome thing. I think they can make a musician better or more open minded and discover new things because all it really is making you play more, absorb more like a sponge, and then you can just regurgitate subconsciously. It might help you with your own songwriting, I guess, right?
Yeah, and you're constantly learning,
Mm,
constantly. Like in the last 2 months, like the music part of my brain has really been working hard.
mm,
And I've a to do list, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it and get it all done. And then I do want to spend some time writing. I haven't written anything in quite a long time. I'm ashamed to say. So I do. There's a couple of things I want to get done, and then if we're still in lockdown, which I will be as a musician anyway, get writing again and try and come up with a plan for the next studio release anyway.
I guess it's good to have a break, isn't it, as well? Like you can't constantly be creating, because then I guess eventually you'll start forcing yourself to create, right? So I guess a break is good, and then
Yeah,
digest.
I know a lot of people are very good at writing every day. Even if I heard somebody say, I'm going to say it was Glenn Hansard. I'm not quite sure, but he said if you write a line every day, just write a line. If it's something that happened, if it's just an idea, but from that line, a song may appear from that. But I've never been good at that. At sit, I don't have a particular space that I go to write in. Nighttime is good for me. I couldn't write during the day, so nighttime and the early hours. But yeah, I'm just not good at forcing that. It's
Mm,
just, I suppose my attitude is I can't force it. Other people can, and they've probably written fabulous songs, but I just can't seem to force it at the moment. I don't want to force it. But I'll get around
mm.
to it. I think it comes in cycles with me every so often. Something will come to me, and then I go right, and then another song might come straight after that. So how it goes.
Everyone's different, everyone has a different way that their brain works or how well, for whatever reason, right? There doesn't even need to be a really reason, but everyone has their, so that might work for Glenn Hansard. So for him to give that advice to someone, I mean, I'm afraid to give advice to people because I would always just say, well, that's just obviously my opinion of how it works with me, with my circumstance, with my upbringing, with my mentality,
Yeah,
with my whatever, how much I let myself go and or whatever. I don't even know. Like Saul Blake, the first guest today, said he writes something every day. I think he was saying like he writes quite a
yeah,
lot as well. So some
yeah,
people are just able to do that, and some people like yourself, and I think I would be kind of similar in that way with regard to project creation and ideas. Let's say the ease of ideas comes in sort of phases for me, like block phases, perhaps.
mm,
Maybe it's not even depending on what time of the year it is, if it's the summer or
yeah.
the winter or whatever I ate, does that make a difference? Like, but it's great to be able to capture it, right? You identify the moment of creation, you're like, okay, now it's the time to grab the guitar or a pen and paper,
Absolutely.
right?
Or sit at the piano. I find having the keyboard in the house is great. There's stuff that won't happen on guitar that will happen on piano, and
Mm,
eventually bring it back to the guitar then, which is good. But
mm,
yeah, as you say, everyone's different. I was delighted to hear Saul saying that he writes every day, and I'm sure like a lot of artists will write stuff and dismiss it, but they will eventually go back to it. You could be looking
mm,
for that hook or that bridge or that chorus. You go, well, I can take it from this other song. I've done that anyway. So keep
mm.
keep the lyrics there, and if you're stuck, you can always kind of flick back. kind
Yeah.
of cheating, but you know.
Yeah, but somebody said that to me on the Saturday show. I can't remember who said it to me, but they were like that they can only write from like a nostalgic point of view. They can't write in the current way. You tuned in, did you, on the Saturday? Was it on? It was on Saturday. I can't even remember who my guests
Yeah,
were, man. This is how blanked my brain has
yeah.
become from all of this.
But I'm just kind of looking when you say nostalgic, I think I'd be the same actually. Like people were asking me, "Oh, you'll definitely be writing a song about lockdown." I'm like, no, like
Maybe in a
it is
year.
what it is. But yeah, exactly. You might write about it looking back and saying, did I give myself enough space, or what did I discover about myself? So yeah,
Mm,
I'd be the nostalgic type actually. That's yeah. I'm
mm.
going to take that line for future interviews.
Take it. It's not even mine. You can take it. Just see, this is why you should be tuning into all of the show, guys. You know, you're gonna get loads of info you can steal from me and other artists.
No, it's great. I love the format of the show. It's brilliant. It really is.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it. Like, no, it just feels very loose. You know, I just want to keep it loose and natural, and share a bit of share people. That's all it is. Like genuinely
Yeah.
share people. You've done some interesting gigs, man. So I spoke to Greg Clifford and Ian Brennan already. So you're kind of the third guy now that I had to interview, obviously, because you three did something awesome together, which was the Back to Basics tour. And I've asked each of them. I think I have. I should have. If I hadn't, that sucks, because then I would be able to clip them all together and get you all into a little,
Yeah.
all pieced together. But how was that for you? How did it come about? I'd love to hear your perspective on that, because it's an interesting thing. It's awesome, and I love interesting ideas, innovative ideas like that. I think it's cool.
It was great. It really was. That's like obviously that's a very short answer, but it was great. It was testing at times, but yeah, altogether it was great. I was shattered during and after it, but it was 17 dates. For anybody that isn't aware, it was we booked myself and the two lads. We booked and promoted a 17-day tour around Ireland. When we did it ourselves, we're all unsigned artists. So Ian came up with the idea and then approached Greg and then approached me. So yeah, it was great, and like it was great bonding between the three of us as well, because I never knew Ian or Greg before this, so it was good, and we were well received for the most part. There were gigs that we did that were like they were not very well attended, so
Mm,
but it was we got on with it, and it was over the space of 3 weeks. So put 17 dates in 3 weeks, and it's a good taste of what touring life is like.
mm,
And then Greg and his father documented it along the way, which is just amazing.
mm,
So the documentaries on YouTube, the Back to Basics tour documentary, and that will give anybody that's thinking of going into the industry, or wants some ideas or whatever, that'll give you a good insight into what it's like.
mm,
It's really, we didn't polish it up. It's or Greg and Dave didn't. They included everything: the good, the bad, and the ugly.
mm.
I was the ugly. So yeah, no, it was a great experience, and like myself and the two guys are still friendly, and we keep in touch. So even that itself is good. There's a
Mm.
support network there for the three of us.
Yeah, yeah, because I was speaking to Luke, and he said he kind of crammed in a lot of gigs, for not crammed in. I mean, he did a lot in 250 in 1 year, and he said he did it for like experience and things like that. Do you think that's a good thing? Like, would you do that again? Like, as in like cram a lot of gigs, like in a tour environment, or let's just talk about the compression of a lot of gigs, or do you prefer just to kind of spread out sort of mode? And what's kind of your perspective on that?
I'd do it again. I would have met Luke actually earlier on in the process in about 2015, so when he was doing all of that. I wasn't doing half as much as he was, but I was doing the same idea. I was doing a serious amount of traveling, so I'd be going down to Cork to sing 2 songs, to
Mm,
hop on a bus to come back to Monaghan, or as close to Monaghan as I could get. So I would definitely do the tour again. Yeah, I would probably, depending on who I'm working with, but I would probably put even more work into the promotion of it, and
mm,
build it up over the space of 6 months or whatever.
mm,
Although we did that too, but yeah, I would do it again, definitely.
mm.
I'm really a yes man at the minute. I would try anything within reason. I'll throw myself at anything, because you never know what's going to come out of a project or experiment.
You never know who's watching or who might be interested.
Oh,
And
yeah,
yeah,
brilliant.
exactly, man, exactly. Look at all these people watching us on 5 different platforms now. You never know. You never know.
Mad. It's great.
It sounds better than it is, like 5 platforms. But no, it is
Yeah.
great. It is great. It's awesome. I'd love you to play a couple of tunes. Can I just ask you one thing while we're on the topic of traveling? Because you've been to Poland as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little
Yes.
bit about that? Because I'm originally, my parents are both from Poland, and I visited Poland many times, and I love Poland. And I'm a little bit like I'm thinking back, to Poland recently because of this warm weather, and I want to go visit it. It's been a while. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience in Poland?
Yeah, well, so just I suppose the backstory, and again, it'll give an idea as to what can happen. So when I was like starting off as a singer-songwriter, I did a gig in Arklow, an open mic gig in Arklow, and I met. Now I don't remember meeting this man, but I met him that night, and I think he bought a CD, Wojciech from. He's based in Arklow, but is from Poland,
Hmm.
and we obviously chatted, but it wasn't until a year or two later I got a call and he introduced himself and told me that he is organizing the Polska Era Festival in Poland. Would I be interested? I says absolutely. Just like yes is just comes out of my mouth straight away. Um, so yeah, I've been to Poland now 3 times to play the Polska Era Festival. Greg Clifford came with me the last 2 years, so it was a blast. Um, we were received very well and treated so well. Like we still laugh about it. Like we were almost treated like superstars, and I'm really not exaggerating that. You know, like, but Barry, you must not queue for the bar. You must, we treat our guests. Sorry, I shouldn't be putting on a voice, but it was all of that sort of stuff. Like
It sounds amazing. Wow.
a free beer and whatever grub is on offer, and then to get up on stage and like even the setting of the gig is at the back of the culture house in the town is Ruda, by the way. I don't know if you know it or
Um,
it's in the Silesia, the area of Silesia. Am I saying that right? I don't know.
Geez, I wish I knew. It's in the it's is it in so wait so
I
wouldn't
think
it's
it's
not in the south, is it?
yeah, South
It
Poland.
is.
Yeah,
Ah, okay,
yeah,
okay. Because I know
yeah,
there's a festival in the north by the sea, which it's a bit colder up there. So you're in a warmer area. It's definitely nice.
yeah.
Dolny Śląsk, which will be the south. I don't want to pronounce any Polish things because they sound really hilarious. Because I go gusto with the pronunciation, because
Okay.
the Polish just comes out. But no, I
Yeah.
don't know that. I don't know that specific area. But that'd be interesting to check out. I'd love to see it. And were you meant to play this year, or was that meant to happen this
We
year? Yeah.
were well. It was on the cards. Then we were waiting for some funding from Culture Ireland, which didn't come through for whatever reason.
Okay.
So I think they're doing it online. I'm not quite sure how that's working out or who's going to be taking part, but I think it's going to be online.
Okay.
So yeah, no Poland this year. No, I travel to Sweden every year as well. No Sweden either. So well, those people can keep up to date with me online, which is great.
Mm.
But yeah, overall the Poland thing was great. Like last year, I think last year we visited. No, not last year. The year before, we took some time out after the festival. We stayed an extra 2 days and traveled to Krakow
Hmm.
and saw some sights there and
Yeah, I
just
love
chilled
that
out
city.
before we came home.
Mm, mm,
Magnificent city. We didn't see enough of it.
mm.
We just about found our Airbnb, which was man, that's a challenge, especially in another country. I've never used Airbnb before, but like we were exhausted when we got there that morning, and like looking for a key that was hidden in a bush somewhere outside. It was just disastrous. I think Greg
Yeah.
Clifford lay down on the footpath at one stage and said, "Val, you look after this. I just can't."
Oh, it still
So
sounds beautiful, man. I'd still love to even
it does.
experience that.
It's the memories, and Greg
Mm,
takes his camera with him wherever he goes, so we got some good footage, some funny stuff as well.
mm.
So it's always nice to look back on that.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I have to. So, is there a document? Is that public footage, or is that something that you guys
There,
haven't?
I have some footage on my own YouTube,
Oh,
Barry
great.
Jay Hughes. So there's kind of just it's more like the outtakes of our
Oh,
experience
that's the
there.
best parts, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And me and Greg are all about that. We're like, right, let's do a serious 10-minute mini documentary. Now, can you send me all the bloopers as well? Because I want to, I
Yeah.
want to use them.
Oh, I
Because
love
I'm
it.
like Luke Perkin. I like in the last couple of years, like I just learned it's not good to take yourself too seriously. I think to let people know both sides of you or whatever amount of sides there is to you is
Mm,
good. They want to get to know the artists. The online gigs are good for that actually. They're
mm,
really cool because um I think one of your guests said it today. It's that they just get to know. No, it wasn't. It was actually on morning television. I was watching, but somebody was on saying they're really loving watching online gigs because you really get to know the person. Because I can
Mm.
talk to people like I'm talking to you now,
Mm-hmm.
and introduce every song, talk about what the song is about if it's my own song. Whereas if you're gigging in a bar or a venue, it's more so about the music. They just want to hear the music.
Mm.
The online gigs is good. Perhaps there's more of a connection there with the online stuff. It's really
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah, in a strange way. I think there's less stimulation. Obviously, there's less distractions. So
Yeah,
people are just like they only see me, two people talking or one person to the screen, and their friend isn't brushing by them during a gig or
yeah,
something to distract them, and then they go off or whatever. So, and obviously, there's so many people in a bar that it's like doing the gigs that I was doing. I'm literally chatting to the musicians for like 5 minutes, with sometimes with like a tempo that's like way too fast for anyone to understand or bond with, because it's just like in a
yeah,
rush, so many people in the building. So here it's like me and
yeah.
you, there's no rush, but there's people watching too. So, and they are entitled to interact, by the way, guys. You can ask Barry any questions, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, go for it.
So it's all slowed down. There's a bit of irony to it, right? Yeah, we're able to connect at a deeper level. Like me and yourself, Barry, we wouldn't have this full length of a conversation in a bar. Like
That's it.
it's
That's it.
unheard of. It's just there's too much stuff going on preparing for
Yeah,
you getting on stage. You have to tune your guitar. There's other things happening. I'm talking distracted by other people.
yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it, how it's turned around?
All I concern myself with now is making sure the two phones are charged. Is the iPad charged? It's like
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. Has the checklist got smaller or longer? It's like, is the
yeah,
lighting okay?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's mad.
It's
But I'm loving
interesting.
it.
Yeah, it's like the 10-second sound check as opposed to the 10-minute one on stage. It's like, yeah, Barry,
Yeah.
just play your guitar there. Perfect. Oh, really? What? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're fine. You're fine. The frequencies are coming through my speaker, and that's all that needs to happen. I
Yeah,
can't.
that
I
that's
can't.
all we can do.
I have no other options. Like
Yeah,
there's nothing else given to me here.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so speaking of frequencies, so to speak, would you like to play? Would you like to play two songs in a row? Actually, so we had a lovely chat there, and yeah, if you
Okay,
want to give the viewers maybe a couple of tunes by yourself, that
sure.
would be awesome. Thanks.
I'm very close to the screen, so I'm hoping it'll sound okay and not peak too much. But this one is called Medieval City, which is written about a couple of trips to Kilkenny back in the day when I was doing all that traveling. Um, yeah, here we go, Medieval City. Cannons roaring, barflies hopping, the tower bell rings out over the pump house. Still they crawl the streets, they try to raise the dead, chants and tunes and dance, just why they came. Tell me your story, I've got a window I can fill. Won't you drop the cannon? It's time to kill. Call the butler, it's time for a revamp. King of the castle does it again. Whoa, from the fords of the water to the medieval city. Blue skies, great escapes, abandoned streets of stone, and there's chitter chatter, and the door there's the jar, and you're welcome. Feel at home, everybody. The rumble of bass beneath, the warm hum of harmony. It's hard to choose which way is best, which way to go. Tell me your story. I've got a window I can fill. Won't you drop the cannon? It's time to kill. Call the butler, it's time for a revamp. King of the castle does it again. Whoa, sitting. Oh, if this is royalty, should I take a vow? Should I take a sip from the cup as the cream rises to the top? Yeah. As it rises, rises to the top. Tell me your story. I've got a window I can fill. Won't you drop the cannon? It's time to kill, time to kill, time. Call the butler, it's time for a revamp. King of the castle does it again. From the fords of the water to the medieval city.
Awesome, awesome. And that track
Ah,
is
thank you.
there's a live two live versions of it on Spotify. Is that correct?
Probably, yeah. At least two. But the studio version is there, which is
Oh, it is. Okay.
I would direct people towards.
Awesome.
I love putting out the live stuff because as a youngster, well, even now, I love listening to live versions of albums. Like the MTV Unplugged stuff, the Nirvana, the Alanis Morissette, and you always hear something that you didn't hear in the studio album. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Oh,
So
100%. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I like putting out the live stuff. To be honest, it's a smarter way, a cheaper way of keeping the content there. I
Yeah.
think anyway.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I generally do enjoy hearing live versions of specifically the ones that I've listened to so many times already, right? The studio version, um, which is all well and good, and it's all pure and in its own way is being kind of orchestrated in a studio environment. But hearing it live is definitely there's something else there. Sometimes a new intro is added or an outro, and you can be more creative with it as well. And I've experienced that with Toto, for example, who I actually
Okay,
I prefer their live to their
right.
studio now, because they just come up with these
Okay,
amazing intros now, and the song's 2 minutes longer, because you get a little bit
okay,
more for your buck,
yeah.
in a way. But yeah, totally agree with you, man. So yeah, do you
Yeah,
want to?
I watched. So one of my mates posted the live version of what's their song Africa?
Oh yeah,
Or like a 10-minute video of the song, like amazing, just unbelievable. But yeah,
yeah, you
will I
can't.
crack into another one for you?
Absolutely, brother. Let's do
No stopping me now.
it.
So this one is off the last EP. Just be honest with yourself. It's the title track, which is called "Honest." Bit of a love song, different vibe to this. Yeah, here we go. Oops. Sleep tight now. Don't let me wake you. Dream well now. Just let it take you. It's getting late. We've got to reevaluate just where we are and where do we go from here? Ooh, 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 Oh, smile for me, cause it's all I want, yeah. Oh, won't you talk? Won't you talk? Won't you talk to me now? Even, even under your breath, yeah. It's just a shame that we're not on the same page. Because I'm on this shelf where all the paperbacks lay. Ooh, 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 oh, why can't we be as one like lamb? You said you loved me. Why'd you do that? Just be honest with yourself. Just be honest with yourself. Oh, 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 with yourself. Oh, sleep tight now. Don't let me wake you. Oh.
Great song, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you played that one last week on the show. Was it that one?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't remember.
we
Or
played
was it diving
Honest.
in? Yeah.
No, it was Honest, and it was the you have the music video to it as well on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we played that one. Great tune. Almost kind of, it's almost something you'd hear in the evening, kind of like a lullaby almost in a way or something. Just for me,
Yeah.
my perception here
Yeah.
now. So, mm,
It is quite a soothing song. Well, I hope it is. It's quite high in the register for me at times, depending on what day it is. But I've had to take down some of my songs in the last year or two, down a couple of the keys. Hate
oh
when that
really?
happens.
Oh okay, yeah, yeah. It's just you're gaining more experience now, so it's like.
Oh, I thought I was sure you were going to say, "Well, you're getting old."
No, 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 no. We're all in the same. We're all in the same book. Like time is moving at the same speed for everybody, brother.
This is true. This is true.
There's a couple of people in the chat, giving you some great, giving you some love, man. And I wish I could
Brilliant.
pronounce her name. O'Dovta Podregine. It's a
That
Gaelic.
Padraigine, yeah, or
Podregine.
Patricia, good friend of mine.
Patricia, there you go. She said, great song. We got Dave Duggan back in the house saying, go on, Barry.
What
Luke,
did you get? Did you get the groceries, David? Let us know what you got. What's for tea?
exactly, David. Let us know, brother. We got David Roycroft. He said about yourself, Barry. He's great. I follow him on Instagram.
Oh,
Class.
nice one, David. Nice one, David.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. So Dario Rodriguero. Hi, Barry. Long time.
Yes, I have. I haven't seen Dario in a very long time. I think the first time I met Dario was at the Crystal Skull sessions, which I'm sure you've heard of. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I hear it's a terrible night actually. Horrible,
it's a bloody great
horrible
night. It's a great
presenter.
night's crack. Great night's crack.
So you came second. There was like I think it was like you and Jaffa Cakes were the first top two, right? I think of the competition. Um,
Possibly, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't remember.
That
That's
was
terrible,
that
but
was
I
the
can't
first.
remember.
Well, it was 4 years ago. Over four. I think is it this October? It'll be 5 years, man. I think so. It's quite a while.
Possibly, yeah,
And I think you guys
yeah.
were the first ones. That was in the early stages of the show, before I had the smoke
Yeah.
machine, before I had
Right.
the charisma. That took
Oh,
about.
you always had the charisma,
No, man.
definitely. And that intrigued me about you, being honest. I was going, this guy is great. This is different now. this that's like what I said earlier on. It's standing out from the crowd, and
Mm.
when I walked in, like the vibe in Shinee that night, just brilliant. And then you were like this sorcerer, you got up and this charisma. Well, it was fantastic.
Yeah, well, I'm like yourself, man. You know, like you creating different themes every gig you're doing now on the Sundays. You know, it's just kind of making something, adding something different, to what already exists, right?
Yeah,
So to make it
yeah,
interesting for people, and I like doing that with everything I do. Not trying to force myself to be different. I don't like forcing, like we were talking about creativity, not
yeah.
forcing oneself, but genuinely like wanting to sort of express oneself and whatever crazy idea goes on in that head
Yeah,
or heart.
within the boundaries that you have yourself,
Yeah.
working within yourself, but exploring yourself as well, I suppose. I don't know, does
Mm.
that make sense? But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, absolutely. Yeah, it's I guess it's interesting, yeah, because you have to kind of know yourself to begin with, right?
true,
Before you start
true.
expressing. So it's like, who am I first of all? And then, okay, then I can share it with the world.
If I don't know after these couple of months, I'll never know who I am.
And that's it. Like we've become quite introspective, I guess,
Yeah,
which is lovely. It's lovely, and a lot of more people have become braver. You know, I've certainly become braver. You know, I wouldn't be able to talk in front on a digital platform like this. I've never done it before. It's different talking live on stage to people. I'm used to it. I'm accustomed to it. It was scary at the start, right?
yeah,
As it can be. You learn these tips and tricks, how to work the crowd and how to sort of be chill and be yourself. But then you've got the next level of being in front of the camera, like which is
yeah.
a little red eye. You know, that's luckily I get to look at you and myself sometimes, and I'm sick of looking at you. I get to look at myself then, and vice versa. You know, but swap around. You see my eyes going like this, you know, back and forth.
I know, I
But
would have the same.
you got to check if you're still there, right, in the frame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I've been paying attention. I'm only a little thing in the bottom right hand corner. Like if I wasn't, I would be looking at myself the whole time.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's hard. It's hard to, but it's a new thing to kind of get used to. Of course, Barry. It's first of all, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Just having the
you
chats.
too,
It's been
you
lovely.
too, Mister
Uh,
Mister
Um,
Kozak, Mister deMars.
Kozak, yeah, Kozak will do. I mean, I don't know. It's a stage name. I had to come up with something because my
It's great.
my
It's
first name is it's a complicated story. It's the most simplest thing in life somebody should figure out, but I just couldn't figure out what to call myself. So I've been blessed. I've been self-blessed with five different names because I can't fucking make up my mind. But that's a different story. um,
all good,
yeah,
all
yeah.
good.
Is there anything you'd like to close off with? Anything you'd like to share with the viewers with regard to anything that's coming up? Or, of course, mention your Sunday night, 6:30 is your performance, and mention
Half
these kind of things.
six. You'll find it on my own page, but it's streamed directly onto the Dingle Whiskey Bar Facebook and Instagram. So drop by some Sunday night and say hello. I'm working on the next live album, which is recordings from two shows I did here at home or in Carrick Cross
Hmm.
for Christmas. I usually do one or two showcase gigs, so we captured those quite nicely, if I may say so. Myself and Martin O'Neill, the producer I'm working with. So we're just finalising the mastered tracks, and the artwork is ready to go. So that'll be out physical sale CD from the website barryjhughes.com, which I've just posted in the Facebook comments. Um, there's always new merchandise coming on into the store, so check that out as well. New t-shirts on the way. And what is the other thing? Yes, I'm still working on a music video for a song called Replace. A
Hmm.
good pal, David Duggan, who's in the chat room, he's going to be working on that for me.
Awesome.
That involves about 60 different people from around the world. I kind of reached out to people and asked them to do it's basically a pimped up lyric video, if you like. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of amazing clips from around the world, and that'll be good. So that's all projects that I'm working on at the minute.
Awesome, awesome, brother. So best to direct people, I guess, to the website, right? Because you got everything there.
Absolutely,
That's the best place to be, and
absolutely.
all the merch and all the news and things like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing this new lyric video as well. I think a lot more musicians are doing lyric videos as well, obviously because you go out and things. So it's great to get to actually see things like that coming out more. That
Yeah,
you're still able to make a video, right? The fact we're still locked in the house, right? So
that's it. And like the song is written about appreciating what you have in life,
mm,
and it was released in December. And I've had the song a long time. I've performed it live over the last couple of years, but I
mm.
think now it's a perfect time to release a video for it. So I'm looking forward to getting working on that.
I love how artists are somewhat like Nostradamuses. You know, they can predict things. Like their music can be so relevant, like ridiculously relevant 6 months, a year down the line, almost hauntingly relevant, right? It's
Or maybe
unbelievable.
maybe it's just the spin we put on things, you know.
Maybe it's so like, the semiotic, right? It's just that the symbology is
Yeah,
so vague that it can mean
yeah,
anything, right? Well, thanks,
yeah.
Barry. I was trying to, pay you as a compliment as artist, but you just,
Um,
no.
no, I'll definitely take the compliment. Definitely,
Listen, brother, it's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy that sunshine, man, and I'm looking forward
I intend to.
to chatting to you again very shortly.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed this. I was looking forward to it, and yeah, I had great fun. Thanks a million.
Nice one, brother. My pleasure. Take care of yourself. See ya.
Thanks, everyone. God bless. Cheers.